Okay, everybody, welcome back to e-learning, and we are going to be using the distortion tools, and I will be going through a plethora or a plethora, whatever way you want to say it, of different types of tools. But the first tool we're going to do is what we call the puppet warp. As you can see, I have a picture of a giraffe on here. And one of the things that inspired me was that Salvador Dali definitely had several paintings of distorted giraffes in it. So that's why I use a giraffe. So what we're going to do is, as you can see in layer one, and I have the copy of my picture here. And what we're going to do is, once the picture's put in, we come here to edit. Oh, gotta get on that layer. We're going to go to edit, and you're going to see all kinds of things here. Here's our regular free transformation, which is Control T. We have our other ones where it's flip horizontally. You should know all these. I'll go through a few more of these. But here's the one we're looking for. I'm looking for the puppet warp. And the reason I'm starting off with this one is it's because it has the most versatility, I believe, out of all the warp tools. Most tools have very specific things they can do, and we'll go through them. But this one, you can kind of do almost anything. It's just a matter of how you manipulate it. Okay. So once I click on it, you're going to see that there's a grid on this picture. And we could take that grid on and off, but I'm going to have the grid on right now. And across the top here, you're going to see that there's a normal. It says either rigid or distort. It's just a matter of how intense things are. Okay, so if you do distort and you start distorting it, it's going to be a little even more, I guess, exaggerated, and rigid is going to be a little bit less. So I'm just going to stick with normal. I will let you guys play with that, but that's all it does. It's when you're distorting something and when you see me move things later on in this video, you're going to understand what it is. So distort means it's going to be more exaggerated, while rigid, it's going to be a little bit more simpler, a little bit more rough. That's why they use the word rigid. And it's going to be, it's not going to be as distorted as other ones would be. Yeah, I know I just talked in circles there. I am so sorry, but I hope you understand my meaning. I think you will. I'm just going to stick with normal. Then over here, we have normal. Now we have fewer points and more points, okay? In Photopea, actually, it's small and large, and it's kind of funny how they use a different terminology. But with this one, it's fewer points, and if I go to fewer points, you're going to see that my grid or my web or my warp is going to be a little bit different. And these points right here I'm pointing at are going to be things that you're going to want to consider. Of course, fewer points, it's going to warp a little easier. It's not going to be as taxing on your computer. And then, of course, if you have more points, this is for somebody that really, really wants to get specific with it and wants to make it look absolutely perfect. I'm not looking for perfection in our next project, okay? I'm just looking for you to learn the distortion tools. And you're going to see how we're going to apply these later. So I'm just going to go with our regular normal. I think it's going to be fine for this. Notice we have the grid on or off. I'm going to keep it on just so it looks it. So what I'm going to do is I have to put at least 2 toggles, okay, or 2 points. I'm going to put 3, and I'm going to put one here. Notice you can see the spot. And of course, it's got the little white circle in it. That's the highlight. That's the one I can move. If I do move it, it's just going to rotate around it. So it's like, that's why it's a push pin. So you're pushing a push pin in, and then we're going to actually kind of manipulate. The push pins are going to keep anchors while I manipulate another one, and you'll see how this goes. I'm going to come down here and do the legs here, and I'm going to do these legs right here. Notice I have 3 points. This is the one I can manipulate right now. Once I'm hovering over it, as you can see, I can add more points. It's got a plus on there. There's a redo button. If you don't like where you have your push points, it redoes, just resets things, and you're in good shape. So let's come here and grab it. Let's pull down. And notice how I'm pulling this, and you can see my other points are staying still. So I'm going to extort this down here. Notice this stayed and this stayed. Hence, you need to at least have 2 points if you want to distort something. Yes, we can continue to add more and more points. Grab this one here, and I'm going to elongate this here. Yes, as I was talking earlier, Salvador Dali did a lot of distortion of elephants and giraffes and things like that. I think the really long legs on the giraffe was cool, so that's why it inspired me to use this picture here. Again, I can come back up here, bring this down a little bit more, or I can move it left and right. I think I'm going to move it a little bit more that way. And I'm going to come here and distort this face like this. Notice I wasn't on one of the points. As you can see, there are 6 triangles that create each one. So it's a hexagon, and that's what works that way. So I'm going to grab this, bring this around here, and notice what's happening to our actual grid or the warp pattern. You can see how it's more intense here and it's larger out here. And that's this whole process. So I can come here, I can move this down a little bit more so it doesn't look as bad. Okay with how that is. I can put more in here. Let's bring this body up. Let's bring these legs up a little bit more. I think it's kind of cool how we're doing this. And we're just kind of manipulative. And we keep adding more and more stuff. Once I like what I have, let's bring that in here. Oh, it's really kind of cool. So I'm very pleased with this one. Once I have what I want, I'm going to come up over here and I'm going to click OK. And what's going to happen is it's going to go away. But if I want to take off, and I'll show you what it looks like toggling a mesh, they call it a mesh off, you can actually see it. I can actually put a point here and yes, and continue to do it. And if that makes it look better for you, if you think that you have a better view of it, by all means, toggle that mesh off. Okay, I called it a warp earlier. They call it a mesh. I'm sorry, I'm messing up your terminology. I hope that's not confusing you. Okay, but it works really, really well. And you can see how really nice this looks, and that you can kind of do this. So there's going to be my story. I'm going to come down here a little bit more, bring this up a little bit. Up. Just pull this in. Oh, I'm going to kind of pull these out a little bit, really distort this monster. Really have some fun with it. But notice this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to distort a picture where I can still recognize it, but yet you know that it's not something that's normal. Again, I'm going to teach you a lot more distortions, but this is how we use what we call the puppet warp. Again, up here in edit, you'll see it right here. It's not showing up right now because I have not okayed it. I'm going to go a little bit farther over here again. So notice what we do is we can actually reset something if I want to, and all the points go away and the picture goes back to it. It says remove all pins, so it's going to make it go back to normal. Control Z, if you put a pin in and you move it and you don't like it, you can use Control Z just for one pin. I think it's just one move. I've done it a couple times, but I can't go back over and over and over again. So you have to reset it, but it will move that one last move. Okay. If I don't like it, as you see over here up top here, I can just exit out. It goes back. It says cancel puppet warp, goes back to my original picture. And if I do like it, I click it right here and it's done to go. Notice it went back to the original. It took a moment to do it. So don't panic, please. Now that I have this, the picture was brought in and copied in. It's not that it's a vector artwork, so it's good. I can manipulate it, and now I can start taking the actual warp picture out of the background. I've done that earlier, and my warp's not exactly the same. But what I did is I used the mesh. Okay, I will take it either way. You could either use the mesh tool, or go ahead and you can just use the old lasso tool like we always do. And come down here. And I'm going to just do whatever's comfortable for you and whatever you feel comfortable with. Do the fact this e-learning, I'm not here to stress you out. I'm here to have you to have some fun and be creative. If you want to, you can do it this way. Select inverse and start hitting that delete button. By all means, you can do it that way. So let's go deselect again. Come here. Let's get our magic wand tool. Let's pick up some of these things here. And I can start deleting it that way. Okay. By all means, you can do it that way if that's going to make it better for you too. Okay. So please do what you think is best for you. Let's go select, deselect. I should just use individually. Yeah, and look at it. It's coming up pretty nice. Okay. Now, if there's something, and I'm going to just come down here. I'm not going to finish selecting this because I've got something masked out. So I'll show you the final product later. If there's something you don't like, something's floating up over here, something that you really can't get to, remember, you have the eraser tool. You can use the eraser tool. And I'm going to go make this a little bit larger. Using my brackets, my stiff brackets, right angle brackets, I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. But I can come here and say, I don't like this part here. Come here. You know what? Manipulate it. Come here, get rid of that. Manipulate things. You could always use the eraser tool too. Instead of doing, like I got some floaters up here, erase those. And that's it. So either way, you can use the selection tool with the magic wand and start deleting your background and leaving it as such, or you can use the mask tool if you feel more comfortable with that. I'm going to show you my product with the mask tool. It looks like this, and I've got something really cool that I can move around. Okay, and come to my layer. and I can move this around. I will be distorting more and more things. I will show you other tools, but this is the first one. I think this is the most versatile out of them all. You have to play with it and manipulate it. That's something you're going to have to do, and I'll tell you when to start doing that. But expect more distortion tools being posted on my YouTube channel. I just did this for Photopea. I just uploaded those right now. So you got them for both for Photopea and Photoshop. Okay, guys, everyone have a wonderful day. It is awesome outside. It's been really nice. I am recording and doing my work even when it's nice outside. So I am committed to you. Just stay committed to me. Take care, guys. Everyone, be wonderful.